So special.
Yeah, I don't know who made that. I probably should.
Not have it anymore. Oh, I mean, you should probably. No. I see where you were going with that. That's where I was going with it. Sorry. Let's pop right in.
Hello, and welcome to WayTooBroad, a show and tell program for really, really ridiculously excited grown-ups. Silly Friday edition this week. I'm Hannah, and these are my co-hosts, Erin and Ben. Hi, Erin.
Hello, Hannah. Hello, Ben.
Hello, both of yous.
Hello, Silly Friday.
Hi, I'm so excited this week. I have some fun upfront stuff. Erin has fun upfront stuff. Erin's been so obsessed with her obsession, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I've got a lot of friends.
Yeah. Well, let's just talk about what we're drinking first.
Okay, fine. Is it me first?
It's Ben first.
Oh, I'm drinking water that's pretty much empty.
Well, you should get more of it because you got a little frog in your throat there.
I honestly probably should. I think Okay, I'm gonna get more water.
Wow. We hung out for so long before we started the podcast. And he was just drinking water.
Just drinking water, not enough. He needs bigger glasses.
Drinking water, not enough.
Yeah. Well, should I just tell you what I'm drinking then?
Yeah, we'll do this without him. We don't need no man to listen to what we're drinking.
Actually, you're next, Erin.
Oh, okay. Well, I want Ben to know what I'm drinking.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't care if you knew or not what you were drinking.
All right, we'll wait.
We'll just wait. Ugh.
We don't need no man, but we want Ben.
We want Ben. It's different.
It's different. He's fine. He's cool.
He's great. We're just accidentally complimenting him.
Oh, shit.
I'm back.
We roasted you so hard while you were gone.
Fuck.
Yeah, you're gonna have to listen in order to know what we said about you.
Do you have anything other than iced water?
Nope.
Did you have anything other than iced water recently?
That's not a drink.
In the past 24 hours.
Yeah, I had a Stroopwafel McFlurry yesterday.
Okay, how the fuck was that?
It was not great.
Oh, okay, that's good.
It was fine. There was no real waffle element to it. Like, I kind of expected little pieces of waffle in there.
Yeah.
It was pretty much just like cinnamon and like little pieces of hardened caramel. And that was kind of it.
That's not a fucking Stroopwafel. You're missing the whole waffle part.
Like, it was fine. It didn't encompass the beauty that is Stroopwafel, though.
Hannah's consulting her McDonald's pamphlet. Which she still has handy.
I still have it handy. It looks like there's waffle in this, but, maybe it was pieces of caramel, because it's...
Does it say Stroopwafel? It does. It does indeed say the waffle part.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like this is like false advertising. I feel like we could sue them and pretty much win.
Yeah, we should pretty much sue them.
Let's win and or kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Guys,
sounds great.
Tweet at McDonald's, not enough waffle, too much Stroop. # not enough waffle, too much Stroop. If you want to get in on the class action lawsuit with us.
Yeah. Class action law Stroop.
Law Stroop / murder.
That sounds great. Well, okay, I know we're in the middle of drinks, and this is we're just like right in the middle of drinks, but Ben, how did you come about getting a McFlurry? Because we had said on the last podcast episode that we were all going to come with McFlurries. None of us remembered, but you happened to have one yesterday. How did that come about?
Oh, she's putting you on blast right now.
I'm not putting him on blast. I'm just curious, like, the origin story.
there's a McDonald's right next to my therapist's house. And so I went, and then I thought of it because I was passing it.
Nice.
And so I went to it, and then it's not on my normal way home, so I didn't think of it today.
Was it like a pre-treat or a post-treat? Post-treat.
It was on my way home. I was really hungry, and it was also really hot yesterday. And so I was like, man, I want some ice cream. And then I passed McDonald's and remembered the Stroopwafel McFlurry and pulled in their drive-through.
Wow.
And got me one for $3.39.
It's so organic. You can't argue with that.
Mm-hmm. I am not arguing. I'm proud, and I'm actually relieved because if he had remembered it again today and had a second one that he didn't really want, I would have felt sad.
Kylie's so mad at me that I didn't get her a McFlurry when I went to McDonald's.
Oh my god.
No.
It was very spur of the moment. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh. Wow. Ben, you're a terrible person.
Oh man, I was just gonna ask about the coupon because I'm a buy one get one free right here.
Handy, she's got it handy. Well, thanks for doing it. I feel like I'm not gonna go get one.
Yeah,
thank you for doing the work for us.
I think I would get it again.
Wow.
You're gonna have to now.
Now that he knows about the coupon.
No, it was, as much as it wasn't representative how good Stroopwafel is, or as good as Stroopwafel, it was still a good McFlurry. I don't know, I'd get it again.
Okay, a good McFlurry. Okay.
Fascinating. What a concept.
Thursday, what a concept.
That's just that's a different thing. That's a different qualifier I wasn't ready for. I don't know what that means to me, you know?
It means that it's fine.
Okay. Well, I'm next. Yes. I'm drinking a homemade lemon spindrift. That's plain seltzer and lemon water. A lemon juice to the rest of you.
Lemon water.
Plain seltzer and lemon water.
Plain seltzer and lemon water. And I also have mini store brand mini caramel waffles. The original Dutch mini caramel waffles, making me think that Stroopwafel is most certainly trademarked.
Wow, really? That's so weird.
Anyway, we were at the store and I was like, yo, I'm gonna get some Stroop. And they only had the individually wrapped kind, which was fine. But then they had this one bag in the back of the shelf of these original Dutch mini caramel waffles. And I was like, hell yeah. So I reached my whole arm in to get it and I put it in a cart. And Molly was like, yo, check that expiration date. And it's fine, but that was totally a good call. So shout out to Molly.
Yeah, smart lady.
How are they?
They're good. They're great.
Are they as good as Daleman's?
Yeah, they're not noticeably different to me. I haven't done a side by side. I'd probably be able to give you more information on the side by side, but I'm not disappointed by them. They totally scratched that Stroop itch. You know what I mean?
That's good. Also, while we're on the subject of Molly, big shout outs to Molly for being on the podcast last week. Yeah, she was awesome.
She was so great.
And I'll wait. I have a terminologian that's related to Molly's obsession from last week.
Oh, awesome. Great. Love it. What are you drinking, Hannah?
I'm drinking my regular homemade seltzer.
Let's hear it.
Not homemade spindrift. Oh.
That was so disappointing.
Yeah, it was really dinky. I'm also drinking... I can't remember if I've had one of these on the podcast before. It's from a brand... It's a cider from... Is it a cider? Yeah. It's a cider from a brand called Graft, which is based in... I should have looked at this beforehand.
She's Newburgh. Just turning the can round and round. I said you're just turning the can round and round.
Yeah. It's a nice can. In Newburgh, New York. And it's... So there's a line that they have. There's I think 4 different ones. They're all called Cloud City. But they're different cities. So this one is Emerald City, which is hop strawberry dreamsicle cider.
Wow.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you
That's
heard
just
me.
3 different things that I wouldn't think of going together.
Well, I think I've had one before.
it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, you were turning it too much. You shook it up.
I didn't shake it.
How is it?
It's good. It's less sweet than you would expect, which is good for me.
Is it good for a McFlurry?
It's good for a hop strawberry dreamsicle cider. It's tart. It's quite tart, actually.
I would expect that to be very sweet.
Yeah, it's not.
Nice. Cool.
It does have, like, kind of that same thing that Strawberry Spindrift has that I like, that you guys don't necessarily like, where it tastes like it has actual strawberry juice in it, not strawberry flavoring.
I think that's Ben's kind of thing. I feel fine about it.
All right.
I feel like Ben fucking hates strawberries.
I love strawberries, but nobody drinks strawberry juice. That's just a fact of life.
You can juice a strawberry.
You can, but
I
no
didn't
one
say
does.
you can't juice a strawberry. I said no one drinks strawberry
No one
juice.
does. Yeah, you're right.
Why not?
And I think there's a reason for that. It's because it's not that good.
I think it's good.
Wow, this is great podcast material. Well, cool. Great drink,
Overruled.
Tanner.
Thanks.
2 to 3. I mean, 2 to 1. Fuck.
Wow. We have so many upfront things. Let's get through them.
Yeah. You want to start, Erin?
Sure. I've got some stuff. I also noticed we have some emails.
Yeah.
I've got 3 upfront things. One is wondering if you guys have been watching the Women's World Cup.
No.
No.
Soccer. The USA they were in the quarterfinals today against France, which was such a great game. I watched it. They're kicking ass. They made it to the semifinals. There have been 8 World Cups for the Women's World Cups, and the USA team has been in all 8 of them. Has made it to the semifinals of all 8 of them. They're amazing. So just putting a plug. The next game I think is on Tuesday.
They're so much better than the men's team.
Yeah, the men's team. I think I saw a tweet. They like made it to the World Cup like once in like the 1930s, and they get paid a lot more than the women's team. It's bullshit. So anyway, they're awesome. It's so entertaining, and the game today was really big because they're the number 1 and 2 teams. Like the people were saying it was like should have been the final, pretty much. But so I just want to put a plug out there. Women's World Cup, so great. The second
Shout out
one
to
was
Megan Rapinoe specifically.
Yeah, I think it's Rapinoe.
Is it?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, check this out too. I'm gonna drop some mind boggle on you. Hold on.
Drop some mind boggle.
Up here. Oh shoot. Up here in the Slack. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, enjoy that. Okay. That's a picture. Oh, wait till it comes through.
Oh, wow.
Just came through.
It's a picture of Molly and Megan Rapinoe. No big deal.
Wow.
She's just great.
How
Okay.
old was Molly in that picture?
That was in 2011, which is the year we met, or the year we started dating. So she was, hold on. She was like 22.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a nice picture.
It's nice. They look like they're like best friends.
Yeah, they look like they're gal pals. I was just thinking that they really look like they're gal pals.
Like gal pals. Yeah, back
Is
off,
Molly
Megan.
a big soccer fan?
I know. No.
I know.
I know. I know.
You're just gonna, okay.
Yeah, she's not. She didn't watch the game with me today. We were both working from home, and she was actually working. So I don't know why she wasn't. Anyway, so that was awesome. It was really fun.
Wait. So how did she end up meeting her? What? Why aren't we
She was
getting?
at a soccer game. She's not like a huge soccer fan, but she like went to the women's team was playing in Cary, I think.
Oh, okay.
Against Japan, and her and a group of friends went.
Hold on a second. I'm being knocked on. Hello?
Whoa.
What's up?
Tried to make a strip waffle and drink warm.
Oh my god! Wow, thank you. I was joking. Oh, do I need this?
It was just to carry this because
Oh.
it broke. And
Thank you.
Wow.
shit.
Hi, Ann.
hard caramel.
Aaron says hi. Did you make this caramel?
Yeah, but it's more like hard candy consistency.
Oh, he shaved.
If
Yeah,
we
he did
don't
shave.
accidentally swallow it.
Okay, I promise. I'll only swallow it on purpose. Okay, thank you.
After some gentle chewing.
Also, one more thing I discovered in this process. Sorry, I'm ruining the podcast. I will send it to you.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Wow. So what do you have? What do you have there?
Ian brought me... Okay, so before I came in here, I realized that I had completely forgotten about the stroopwafel thing. And so I said to him, can you make me like a stroopwafel martini? And he was like, I don't have any stroopwafel. And I was like, well, can you just make it anyway? I'm like, I was 100% joking about the entire thing from the beginning, but he just came in here with a martini glass full of his best approximation of a stroopwafel flavor.
Wow.
With caramel that he made himself.
Wow.
In our kitchen.
Wow.
Which is it's definitely crispier than you're used to from a stroopwafel.
What a guy.
Wow. I wonder what's in this. And then he said that he discovered something. He just discovered something and he'll send it to me. So I don't know what that means at all. But
do you have like a third person living in the house?
Oh, wow. Oh, this must have oat milk in it. That must have been why he was asking about the oat milk.
Love it.
Wow, that's really good, actually. It's like creamy. Oh, it's really delicious.
What's the spirit? I feel like rum chata would do.
Rum chata would have been good, but I don't think we have that. Ian, what's the spirit? Oh, whiskey.
Oh.
For the vanilla-iness, he said.
Oh, love it.
Wow, and apparently there's a stroopwafel liqueur, which is what he was talking about before.
Oh, what?
We gotta get that for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yes, hell yeah.
Yeah, we should. It's not expensive
oh my God.
either.
I love it.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Okay. Sorry about Ian ruining the podcast with delicious beverages.
How dare he?
What were we talking about? Megan, Molly.
Yeah, Women's World Cup, awesome. Check it out. My other two upfront things, just quickly, I noticed today that Ingrid Michaelson just released an album called Stranger Songs, and it's like a whole album of songs inspired by Stranger Things, and it's really nice. And I thought of you, Hannah, because it's like totally a concept album. And she, like, her goal, like, she was like absolutely inspired by Stranger Things. All the songs like have something to do with Stranger Things, but are also kind of like standalone in case like you're not a Stranger Things fan, you won't be like left out. But I thought there's probably a lot there for you to listen to and think about and enjoy.
Yeah.
As there is for me, but it was really cool, especially because Stranger Things is coming out. Season 3 is coming out like next week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you know that she's dating one of the actors in that?
No, who?
The guy who played, I think, the abusive stepdad in the second season is her boyfriend.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So she
Weird.
said she didn't like that character, which, good. But, yeah, all that other stuff you said. So that's awesome.
Cool.
I will listen to it for sure.
And the last one was, this is kind of actually, I can save this for my obsession, and I will. So, sorry.
I can
Great
and will
upfront thing.
save this.
You can do whatever you want, Erin.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Done. I'm done up front.
Okay, do you want to hear my terminologian?
Frick yeah.
Terminologian? This is really a strong drink. Okay, so I have been playing a lot of Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Thanks pretty much entirely to Molly, the wonderful Molly. And but I really don't like confoundables and foundables. I don't like those words. So the other day I just started calling them uncrustables.
Oh my God.
And now I can't call them anything else, and I often forget the other words.
Oh man, I love that so much. Well, way to turn that frown upside down.
Thank you.
It's like the shape of an Uncrustable.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, they're circles, but I guess if you take a frown and then also turn it upside down, you get a circle.
If you take a bite out of it.
Yeah.
I've never had an Uncrustable. I, for some reason, was thinking they were shaped like an empanadas.
If you cut it in half, yeah. Yeah, so that's all. That's just my little upfront thing.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Ben, do you have any upfront things before we read emails?
No.
All
Cool.
right.
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
I got nothing for nobody.
I got nothing for nobody.
Wonderful. Ooh, okay. Well, we have 2 emails.
Wow.
Can I take the one from Uncle Brown, and Erin, maybe you can take the one from Shoutouts to Rachel?
Sure.
Okay. We got an email from Uncle Brown, a disgruntled listener named Uncle Brown, who said the subject line is, "Please get your childhood stories right." And here's what it says.
That sounds like it's packing some heat.
Yeah. It says, "Hi, Potters," with like D's, not like Harry Potter. "I must make a critical correction. Hannah did not call IHOP the secret house of pancakes. She called the original Pancake House, a small and far, far superior breakfast restaurant chain, the secret Pancake House." Hannah and I had a standing Saturday morning play date when we first lived in Florida because Aunt Brown worked Saturdays. We always either started at the original Pancake House or ended with a Happy Meal at McD's. Oh, speaking of McDonald's. Good times. The OPH had awesome breakfasts. The only other place I've seen them is LA, but there were several in South Florida. That's so weird that they would be like in those 2 places. As you can plainly see, this story is far superior to the IHOP version. So please, if you're going to tell stories from the Brown family canon, check your sources to assure accuracy. You owe it to your listeners.
Wow. Thank God we have you, Uncle Brown.
Thank you, Uncle Brown, for correcting.
I'm so glad you corrected that.
Our childhood memories.
I feel like I have a little bit of issue with the tone of the email because it was insult. He was insulted that you didn't check first. When I feel like, how would you know? Like you thought that your story was right. So it's really like, I feel like this is a good, healthy check and balance. Like you told a story, you got some pretty insignificant details incorrect, slightly wrong, and he comes back to check and balance. So
yeah, the system is working.
It's working. I think it's beautiful. Thank you, Uncle Brown.
But it does not negate the fact that the Secret House of Pancakes would be a better name for IHOP than IHOB.
Yeah.
True.
Exactly.
But thank you. That's nice. I didn't remember anything about special Saturdays or Mom ever working on Saturdays.
Wow, the special like times that you had with your daughter that you thought were like gonna be like bonding. She doesn't remember them.
I don't remember them, but that doesn't mean they don't inform my feelings towards my father, you know?
I know.
Do you want to read this shoutouts to Rachel email?
Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
This is from Shoutouts to Rachel. Hey cousins, I want to recommend a graphic novel, which I bet some, if not all of you, will go nuts for. It's called, in capital letters, FTL, y'all, Tales from the Age of the $200 Warp Drive. Why will you like it? 2 question marks. It's an anthology of comics about a not-so-distant potential future where space travel becomes affordable / accessible to everyday individuals. It's a number of really compelling looks at what the future could look like. Also, it incorporates current issues such as climate change, xenophobia, and other huge problems which sometimes feel like they'll be the end of us as a species. But in a way that gives me some hope for the future, showing us that this FTL version of the future isn't perfect, but the heart of humanity could still live on, i.e. there will still be good people. It's a very interesting and, dare I say, realistic premise, and as anthologies do, it also showcases a wonderful variety of different styles and perspectives from all the different artists / writers. But with this particular anthology, many of the contributors are genderqueer according to their bios, which I think you can pick up on through the stories and relationships conveyed. In fact, I noticed that in many of the stories, sex and gender identity don't really seem to mean much of anything on their own, and the constructs around gender that we deal with today, they didn't seem prevalent at all, not in the romances or the friendships or in any of the heroes' journeys. And that gave me hope for the future too. Maybe in the future, we will have collectively gotten over this particular hang-up and recognized that our rules and norms around gender identity are all unnecessary social constructs, or rather, social constrictions, am I right? Love that. So great. So overall, I'm blown away by it for so many reasons, and I think you will be too. Go check it out, and if when you do, let me know what you think. Love you all. Shoutouts to Rachel. And then she included some screenshots, or some pictures of
so they're like screenshots, but they're from real life.
But they were like she like captured the screen of reality.
Offline screenshots.
Wow, this looks great.
Yeah, it does. Wow.
Love all the commentary about gender and gender identity. I love it. So great. Thanks. Shoutouts to Rachel.
Yeah.
It's called FTL, y'all.
FTL, y'all. Like faster than light.
Oh, is that what it's for?
There's a game called Faster Than Light that everyone calls FTL.
Y'all.
Well, in Battlestar Galactica, that's what they call their drives that get them to other places in space places. FTL
Other
drives.
Places, spaces.
Yeah. So
that sounds like a great read.
Space is the place.
With a healthy hardware place. What is that? Ace.
Wow, Ace
Helpful.
is the place. Helpful, hard ass bore.
Wow, yeah, that sounds great. We will check that out.
Wow.
Everyone should check that out.
Wow.
Wow.
Are you
Wow.
doing a Vine right now?
Wow.
Wow.
There's an enemy in Hollow Knight that's this like mushroom that when it attacks makes that like exact noise. It goes like wow, and then it smacks you.
Erin, have you seen that Vine? It's like it's like a woman at a house party like doing a crazy vape trick, and then the camera pans over to a friend, and he's just like, wow.
Yeah, I have seen that. I feel like I will be surprised if you're like, hey, do you know this like popular Vine? And I'm like, oh, I don't know that. I like spend so much of my life watching Vine compilations on YouTube.
Oh my god, they're so good.
They're so good.
Those people in their Vines.
They're so funny. They really are.
They really are.
Yeah. R.I.P. Vine.
Listen, all jokes aside, R.I.P. Vine.
Yeah, listen.
Should we jump in? Should we pop in?
Let's fucking pop in.
Okay. Ben's up first this week. Ben, are you ready to pop?
Okay.
Pop, drop, and lock it, Ben.
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
I haven't really had like a brand new thing because I've been playing a lot of Hollow Knight still and still been obsessed with that. But there's something I realized today that like it's like technically something we've talked about before, but I still think we can talk about it again because it's different-ish enough. I want to talk about the second arc of the Adventure Zone. The second, not arc, the second, like, story, basically.
Because
the
Kepler?
What? Yeah, Amnesty.
Yeah, Amnesty.
So the first one's called Balance, and that's, like, the main one where they play in D&D and shit. And then the second one, they did, like, a few little ones in between where Travis and Clint tried DMing, and I don't think Justin ever did.
Justin only did in the bonus content for, like, if you're a Max Fun Drive contributor, which, have I told you about it? It was, like, it's called, like, For Sherlock Holmeses and a Vampire. And it's, like, an RPG where, it's, like, a very simple RPG where you just, like, everybody is Sherlock Holmes, but then also you could possibly also be a vampire, and everybody has like a couple of weird like tics, and then like if you're a vampire you have like more than one of them, but everyone has at least one, and you have to try to figure out who the vampire is while also solving a mystery. And it's like the funniest shit in the world. It's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go on.
Well,
Sorry.
so they did like a couple little ones in between, like mini arcs. And then the like next big story that they're doing, Griffin is DMing again, like he did in Balance. And they're not playing Dungeons and Dragons in this one. it's like very different. They're playing this this other RPG called Monster of the Week, which is it's based on. There's like a whole series of RPGs that use the system based on a game called Powered by the Apocalypse, and it's like much more narrative based and much less like stat based. And it also has like mechanics in it where like the characters kind of build the world around them rather than like the DM building all of it and then the characters living in it. They like there's sometimes Griffin will be like, where would be a good place to do this in the town that you guys have lived in forever? And they would like think of a like they came up with like a water park in one of the episodes, and like now that just like exists in the world.
Cool.
They've created whole people like that tw.
Yeah, they've like created characters from that.
Major characters.
Yeah. And made Griffin have to play them. And it's just like, because balance is obviously amazing. But like, it's, for one, it's a lot longer. Amnesty is actually wrapping up, which is why it seemed like kind of a good time to talk about it, because they're like on kind of the last arc of Amnesty right now. They just kind of started the end, and it's 30 episodes in, and Balance was 69 episodes. Nice. But when Balance starts, they're just like basically all figuring out how to play D&D, and like not really, you know, they're not really like into telling a story, because they're kind of doing like one of the basic adventures you start out with in D&D. But then obviously as it went on, like Griffin started writing music and like came up with this huge complex story that he must have actually come up with pretty early based on how it like ends up, because there are like some things towards the beginning that end up like actually being important later. And it was a great story, but I just feel like Amnesty has been so good like right from the start, because all of them just like took all of the lessons and like and Griffin like has really come into his own as a storyteller since Balance. And the fact that they're doing like a much more narrative based game, it has really worked for all of them, I think. And I think that like it was much like, it's still funny obviously, because they're always funny, but I think that Balance like started out as like intentionally like it was supposed to be more of a comedy than a serious story, and then as they went on, they kind of like actually started falling in love with their own characters and like taking them seriously and building out those characters. Whereas like this time they definitely like went into it more with the intent of building like fleshed out and detailed people. Oh, because I didn't even mention, it's not like a fantasy setting. It's set in I think the town is fictional. It's called Kepler, West Virginia, but it's like modern times. And the idea of Monster of the Week is that it's like, it's supposed to be like you're in one of those Monster of the Week shows like Buffy, where like every arc is another monster that you have to hunt down. But the way Griffin does that is really cool. Yeah, so like that's just like cool in and of itself, and also again lends itself really well to a podcast form, because it like naturally leads to kind of episodic or like little story arcs, because it's like, here's where they're hunting down this monster and they're learning, here's an episode where it shows up and then they are learning more about it, and then they like finally figure out how to defeat it and everything. And the story's gotten like so like big and interesting in a ways I didn't really expect. Yeah, it's just so good. The music is also really good, and like Griffin wrote great music for Balance too, but he didn't start writing it until like 3 or 4 arcs in. But from this, he like has been, I'm assuming it's him writing all the music. I think he does. I think he would credit anyone else if it was anyone else. He's been writing it like from the start, and like the theme is great, and his editing too has gotten like really good. It's just great. It's just all really well done.
And this can be found, this is like if I'm subscribed to the Adventure Zone.
Yeah, it's like the same feed.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a way to like bracket it so that you can like see what arc?
Yeah, they say Amnesty.
Oh, cool. Oh, I see it. Yep.
And they actually like, they do, I think how they did it was they finished Balance and then they started Amnesty right away for a couple episodes, and then they did like little mini arcs, and then they went back to Amnesty.
Yeah, because they didn't know they were going to stick with it. They were just like testing out different things. Yeah.
But it's really good.
It's really good.
I highly recommend it.
Cool.
I love all the characters.
Yeah. It's wonderful. I'd like to go back and listen through it again soon.
Yeah, because I obviously binged Balance because it was all out when I was listening to it, and I've been caught up for a while now. So, and Adventure Zone doesn't come out every week; it's every like 2 or 3 weeks. So I find myself forgetting what happened, and it can get pretty complex. So like, they actually just recently, which was pretty awesome of them, and I think really well done. Like they kind of did an episode that's like between the second to last arc and the last arc, where they like didn't recap, but like kind of did a mix of like recapping and like adding little bits to backstories as an episode. And it was like super helpful actually to like kind of remind me of where everything was and what we had learned before going into the finale.
Yeah, I think it's like, for me, I did listen to the Adventure Zone while it was coming out. The first, I know they have a word for it, but Balance. And
Saga?
I was able to kind
Saga?
of, no, it's not. I was able to keep.
It's a stupid word, Ben.
Yeah, apparently.
Fuck
God.
would it be that?
It's a memorable word. I would remember if it was Saga, but
Okay.
But I don't know. Like, I do have moments where I'm just like, I don't remember what's happening here, and so I'd kind of check out. And then, like, if you do that enough times, like enough episodes in a row, then you like kind of lose track of one thread or another, because they split up so often and stuff. But like, I don't know. They're just like, you're right. It's like they really just like took all the stuff that they learned from, because like I actually think maybe Amnesty's going to end up being a better arc to try to get people to listen to the Adventure Zone, like, first. Like, new
it's
people.
definitely easier to get into.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because Balance is like, you know, the way Griffin was so good about, like, using all of the sort of lore that they had built at the beginning of the Adventure Zone Balance, that it was like, you'd hate to tell someone to skip the whole first arc.
Yeah.
And it's very funny and worthwhile, but it's like, you're right. It's like, it was a bunch of beginners playing a complicated game that they didn't understand yet as well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But this one was not like that. It was just like very professional from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's good. People should listen to it.
So neat. Yeah, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to listen
Big
to
recommend.
I'm going to queue up Amnesty 1, so I should go back all the way to Amnesty 1.
Yeah.
Which was, I can get that date for.
Yeah, and it is like, I know we've already said this, but like, it's totally, if you want to start with Amnesty, you can totally do that. It's entirely unrelated to Balance.
Set up Adventure Zone Amnesty. That's on January 4th, 2018.
That sounds right.
Whoops. I don't want to listen to it right the fuck now, okay? I'm recording a podcast.
Yeah, check it out. And the setup episode is like, you could listen, or you could also skip it. It's not required. It's like kind of the start of the whole like collaboratively building the world thing.
Yeah.
I'm like queuing
That's
these
interesting.
up.
I think they also like explain how the new system works.
Yeah.
In that one.
Yeah. Awesome. Erin's gonna listen to it.
Dippity dope. I will.
Amazing.
This
Cool. Creative session, Ben. I agree that was different enough.
Thanks.
Yeah. Agree. Hard agree. It's, I mean, they could have made that a new podcast. And then.
Yeah.
Right. Like, they just didn't. So
They just
that's
didn't.
on them. Really.
While we're still on Ben, I meant to mention up front, Ian and I just finished watching the first 2 episodes of Los Espookies.
Oh, we've only
I've
seen
heard
the
it's
first
very
one.
good.
It's fun.
It was really great.
It's really funny, yeah. I like it a lot.
My parents watched it and recommended it to me. They were like, "Oh, we just watched Los Spookies," and I was like, "Oh, I see. You watched that instead of Gentleman Jack." Well, she actually prefaced it. She was like, "I know I'm going to get some heat for this, but we just watched Los Spookies." But she texted me. My parents texted me. They loved Los Spookies. They texted me tonight that they just started Gentleman Jack. They're like, "Jaunty music indeed. Guess what we're watching?"
Oh. Hooray!
I said yay instead of Fucking finally.
That's called being an adult.
Yeah, that's right. That's called maturity. So instead, I'll put them on blast on my public podcast.
Being an adult is saying yay instead of fucking finally, and being a millennial adult is then going and ranting about it on your podcast.
That's fucking right. I respect them. They're doing. They got around to it. That's all that.
That's
matters.
all that matters.
They're honoring me by watching it. That's all that matters.
Yes. Erin, what's your obsession?
Okay, I have 2 upfront things. I remembered one. I remembered one I meant to mention upfront, which was, I know we've talked about it so many times, but You're Wrong About is the best fucking podcast shit. It's amazing.
Listening to that shit still.
They came out with a Stonewall episode this week to celebrate not celebrate, but to like honor and celebrate the 50th anniversary of Stonewall.
I know
the Stonewall
nothing
uprising.
about Stonewall whatsoever, so I'm excited to listen to that.
Yeah, I didn't really know too much about it either, and I was really excited to have my first ish. I mean, I knew kind of things about it, but to have my first kind of introduction to it properly through You're Wrong About, because Michael Hobbs did it, and he put such care and thought, and was very thoughtful. He read a bunch of books. He interviewed somebody who was there. So in just like the way that they talk about it, like the way they talk about everything, is beautiful and brings like such humanity to the things that they're talking about.
They're very thoughtful.
They're so good. And the episode before that, Kenny, I'm gonna mispronounce her name, Kitty Genevieve.
Oh yeah, Genevieve
was an amazing episode. It was really hard to listen to, but also really beautiful because they're just so good. Like more than just like explaining to you how an event really went down. They just pull out the humanity of the people whose humanities got lost in this like misrepresentation of these events. And it's just beautiful. And I really appreciate that. Like I appreciate getting to know about somebody who I wouldn't have gotten to know about, and just like learning about somebody's life. And you know, I appreciate that they present the opportunity to like kind of like highlight or put the spotlight on somebody who didn't get proper justification, you know, at the time of the event. So I just really feel grateful that there's a space for that and that they create that space.
Yeah, both those episodes are wonderful. I mean, really, really, really good. The Stonewall, I didn't know any of the details of the Stonewall incident either. And the like some of the imagery that's evoked in that episode of like the thing that sticks out to me is the like drag queens who were kept the longest, who like, but then didn't get arrested and were being let out of the building, and the crowd had gathered outside, and they were all like coming out like they were walking a runway, and like everyone was clapping for them.
Yeah.
I was like, this is beautiful. This is so wonderful. Like,
yeah.
I mean, not obviously the whole thing wasn't beautiful, but it's just, it's really interesting it's a really, really good episode.
It's great. I really enjoyed it. And it was moving, as always. Like, they're just really doing great stuff. And another thing I love is that it's a great podcast, and they're really thoughtful, and they're good at, they're both journalists, and they're really good at their jobs, and they're both funny, and they also have an amazing chemistry. Like, their friendship chemistry is like so good. Like, I would listen to it if it was just the friendship chemistry. Like, they just like love each other, and really, I feel like they've found something really special in one another. Like a fellow person to like geek out about these things too.
Yeah.
And they're like on each other's level, and like that alone is beautiful. And then they're also doing this really wonderful thing, and they're doing it really well. Yeah. So they also have a Patreon, just throwing that out there. It's for our listeners. Like, I just love them. Okay. Second upfront thing, preface to my obsession. And these are all kind of tangentially like ish related to my obsession. This was going to be my obsession if I didn't have one, but then I have one. There's a Funny or Die series that's coming out. There's only 4 episodes. It's called Under a Rock with Tig Notaro.
I watched one of those.
It's amazing. It's so delightful. There's only 4 of them, which is why it's like 2 weeks in a row now. I thought this was going to be my obsession, but there's like hardly any of them. Have you seen these, Hannah?
No.
So the premise is that it's like they're really short and they're like sponsored by Alexa, but it's a talk show and Tig Notaro is the host, but she doesn't like watch a lot of movies or TV, so often like doesn't know who celebrities are. So the whole premise is that she's interviewing a famous person that we all know, and she doesn't know who they are. And so the point of the interview is for her to try to figure out who they are.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
And so and you know how she is. It's like just the perfect thing for her, because she's like, please welcome this person. And it's just really delightful because they know her and are fans of her, and she's just like, hi.
Like, how real would you say it is? Like, does she really not know these people?
Oh, I think 100%. What do you think, Ben?
Oh yeah, I think it was totally. I watched the Melissa Joan Hart one, and it seemed
that one
100%
was really
real to me.
I absolutely believe that she doesn't know who these people
James
are.
Vanderbeek?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know the Modern
I don't
Family
think
person.
I could recognize James Vanderbeek from
Really?
a picture.
Really?
No.
I didn't even watch that show that he was on.
Yeah,
What show is
he's
he on?
totally.
Dawson's Creek, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's totally recognizable. I like 100% believe this, just because I just like it's so good. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Wow.
As an honorable mention.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Okay. My obsession, my real obsession this week, is a website that I am building in my free time. I'm calling it the Queer Works Map.
Ooh.
And my vision for it is, you of all people know how much I like get really excited about like when I discover a new like queer book
Mhm.
or audio book or like music or song or podcast or whatever. And I always feel like I come across them by happenstance, or, you know, I'll be reading a book and the book will mention another book and then I'll read that book and that book will lead me to something else. I feel like I'm kind of like constantly stumbling upon them, or even going out of my way to like do a lot of research to find more media to consume in the queer space. And I always get really excited when I stumble upon like a mine of resources, but I feel like there's no central place. Like my library I haven't found any like good kind of central place where I can discover queer works of any, you know, of all types. So my vision for this site, it kind of started off as like wanting something that I could kind of track all of the like art I consume in the queer space, and kind of like write little reviews either for myself or for others, rate them based on like how I liked them. You know, do you understand this concept? But kind of like form a collection of, you know, what I've listened to. Cause, you know, especially with like the, like romance novels I listen to, I listen to so many of them. I'm like, did I read this one? Did I like this one? You know, and then as I was kind of talking through this to Molly, and I was thinking about how neat it would be if, I came across something like this, and, you say you have a page for a book I read. Let's talk about like when I was talking to you guys about that book, Annie on My Mind, and how it mentioned this other book, Patience and Sarah, which then I ended up looking into and finding out that it was like the most amazing audiobook I've ever listened to. So I was like, what if I was like looking at this page of like this entry for this book, Annie on My Mind, and I could see a link to its audiobook. I could see all of the things that it referenced. So there was a way to see like this book references this other book, and then I could click into that book and I could see this author wrote these other books, and then I could see this book, or this author has been mentioned by this other author. Like another example is I just got one of the edited Anne Lister diaries, and I get it in the mail, and there's a blurb by my favorite author, Sarah Waters. They're like on the cover. So Sarah Waters has read this book, you know, and I like a long time ago, and I'm just now finding out about this. So in this website, you would go to Sarah Waters' page, and then I could see all of the things that Sarah Waters has ever mentioned. She has in the back of some of her books, like a bibliography of like books that she's read in research for the book that she's writing. So I could see Sarah Waters. I could see, of course, all the books that she's written. I could see that she was, you know, a writer on some movies, like mentioned in screenplays. But then even deeper, I could see all of the books that she's done an author's forward for, all of the books that she's reviewed, all of the publications that have mentioned her, all of the other authors who have mentioned her, all of the other books that she's tied to. So it's basically like this website that I'm building is a way to kind of interconnect like all of these works together, so that you could theoretically, like, it would obviously, like, I would enter in a lot of data, but even from there, you could kind of come in and discover things that are very similar or tangential to the things that you like. And even things like King Princess has a song that is an allusion to Carol, the movie, which was written by a book. So you could just like have this like journey if you're interested in like popping from like one queer artwork to another, and in this really like organized and hopefully like visually pleasing way.
That sounds
amazing.
Like a really great idea, not just for queer art.
Yeah, I was thinking it could probably like scale to something else, but I was thinking like it works really well within a specific realm, because I think like if you're like anything that mentions anything ever, like that's that can get like a little out of control. But I agree. I feel like it could be something that
like it'd be so cool to just like have a website that maps allusions and references back to a source and like everywhere along the way.
Yeah,
I love that idea.
What was that?
That was my watch.
Griffin McElroy, I think.
That was my fucking watch, just like being like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, well, you're not a web developer, and I am. Calm down.
I love this idea. That sounds awesome.
Thank you. I am super excited about it. So I've been working on this, like, I think I talked to Molly about it last weekend, and I've basically been working on it, like, ever since, like, in literally, like, any scrap of free time that I have. And it's been, like, super fun. And I'm making really good progress. I'm, like, actually super encouraged at, like, how fast it's going.
Awesome.
I bought a domain, queer, there's nothing on it right now for you guys, but by the time this pod comes out, there'll be a little something. Probably just, like, an explanation of what it is. Queerworksmap.com. Is that right? I just bought it today. I was like, oh, fuck, I should buy a domain name. So yeah, so that's my website that I'm building. I feel really excited about it. Queerworksmap.com.
Cool. That sounds amazing.
Yep.
So wait, you say it's going quickly.
Thanks.
So like, are you then finding good sources that you can like pull in a lot of data from beyond just like manually finding all these allusions yourself and upload or like typing them in?
That's a good question. The web development is going quickly. Like the actual like development of the site is going fairly quickly. As far as like the data portion goes, like the infrastructure to house all of the information goes. And I haven't found something like that. I feel like that could be hard because like some of it is like, yeah, I read this book and then I happen to know, like, within this book.
Yeah.
So that would be cool if there were something, and maybe even I could eventually find a data source to, like, build the, you know, main page resources of, like, you know, a book page.
That sounds like a really interesting technical challenge to find allusions to other books in books.
I'm sure there's stuff that you could. I'm sure there's stuff that you could find, and then there's also stuff that could be put in manually. And then it sort of seems like the kind of thing that you could enlist users to help with.
Yep. Yeah, and that's kind of the thought, is that, like, because I'm also using it as, like, this is my collection of consumed, like, works, is what I'm calling that kind of resource. That could mean, you know, a book, an audiobook, a podcast, a song, an album, a piece of art, anything, a work of art, because it's kind of like, I'm logging it, and I'm reviewing it, I'm rating it, so it's kind of, like, got this kind of main purpose. The main purpose to me is mapping everything, but the kind of, like, usable purpose, the utilitarian use of it, is like, you can build a wish list, or like I want to read this list. You can look at, you know, I want to read a really well reviewed book. You could, like, you could find things through there, but then you go to add one. And if it's not already created, if you're like, oh, I read this great book about, like, trans lives. Oh, it's not in the career works map. Let me add it so that I can then add it to my list. And then it's available. Yeah. And it's kind of I was envisioning, like, kind of in a Wikipedia way, where it's kind of like user driven and, you know, kind of, crowdsourced in that way. And I was thinking, like, once I get it in a workable state, which will be a while, sending it out to, like, the kind of the queer folk in my life to be like, hey, if you're interested, like, add some books that you've read. Yeah. And add, you know, it's just, like, take a quick look in the reviews and see, you know, who reviewed it or whatever. Yeah. So.
Wow. That's such a great idea.
Yeah, that's an amazing idea.
It's like the evolution of the lesbian movie reviews Instagram.
Yeah. It is
the next evolution,
because that's the same motivation for why you started that Instagram.
Yeah.
Honestly, that kind of took off a little bit. Like, I feel like this has potential to like I feel like there's a need here for sure.
Yeah. I just feel like I have never found a place where I could be like, here are all of the works of our people and how they are, you know.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, maybe you guys have some thoughts about a good rating system, because it's like, I don't know, ratings are like, you know, kind of a shit show, but I was thinking you could do up to 2 thumbs down or up to 6 stars to kind of, like, indicate how you like it or something like that.
Wow. I mean, you should have rainbows involved.
Oh, fuck! This is why I ask.
Roy... ROYGBIV. That's 7 colors.
Up to 7 rainbows, and up to 2 thumbs down. So you could be like, oh, I didn't like it, or like, I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you do, because
I think, well, I mean, do you need thumbs down? Like, I feel like 0 stars is enough to tell someone you didn't like it.
Well,
unless you, like, hated it.
Yeah.
You know how you did, like, does it have any annoying tropes? Does it have, like, that kind of thing? Like,
yeah, that'd be good to have.
Yeah, you could rate it on several different scales. Like, there could be, like, an overall rating.
How gay is it?
Yeah, like, how is it gay enough? Like, and then are there, like, a lot of annoying tropes? Like, is it rated on sexiness, and then also rated on, like, emotional, like, whatever, like, so that you're not... Because sometimes you're looking for, like, a gay story that's not necessarily the sexiest thing in the world. And sometimes you're looking for the sexiest gay story in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah, these are really great thoughts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted... The thumbs down was to kind of capture, like, more, like, is this harmful, right? Is this, like, so, like, bad and also, like harmful to our community or whatever, you know. But I feel like that could be captured in a different, like, rating system or something like that. So I'm gonna think about that.
You know what might be also a good, like, if you wanted to start it out with a good number of users to get a bunch of information, is, like, to somehow get it to, like, a gender studies program at a local university.
Oh, yeah.
And, like talk to a professor and have them, like, give it to their students or something.
That's such a great idea.
Because they would also have, you know about them illusions real well and shit, probably.
Yeah. Amazing. Love it.
Yeah, do, like, a pilot program or something.
Right.
That's awesome.
get a bunch of pilot users to
Hell yeah.
A bunch of gay pilots.
contribute it. I need to find some gay pilots. Some queer pilots and the whole LGBTQTIA.
LGBT.
Oh my god, fucking
LGBT.
Bernie Sanders trying to say LGBT yesterday was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
I must.
What? Give me an impression.
It was like
Oh man!
It's like, God, it's really funny. So many of the candidates, Tulsi Gabbard did the same thing in the first debate, where like,
Wow.
when they say LGBT, they always sound like it's the first time they're saying it, like ever. They're like LGBTQ rights.
When you said
Counting on their fingers.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's amazing. Yeah, I was telling Hannah I was trying to watch the debates, but then I was like too busy working on this website. So
Tig's, the reason it's related is because Tig's new series would be on there as a work.
yeah, and so would
stand-up
the
special.
You're Wrong About podcast episode.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just like anything that like mentions or is about queer shit. Anything.
Now Michael Hobbs is a gay man, right?
He is. He's a gay man.
So would every episode of You're Wrong About then qualify for the website? What is it called?
I think the Queer Works map.
I meant because I started to call it a podcast. That's not what I meant.
My God. I think the way that might work is I might have an entry for the You're Wrong About podcast,
Mhm.
and then I would have individual podcast episodes that are specifically related to. So you would have like kind of parent entities of like a podcast, 2 episodes, and then also like an album. Like the whole King Princess albums would all be on there, and then also the individual songs, because those songs themselves can like, because I feel like the album alludes to gay songs, and then the songs allude to other gay shit. So it's all like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sending you a website. I don't know if this will help you as a data source or as some thinking on how to structure things or anything, but this is a website that does something kind of like what you're talking about, but just for podcasts.
Cool.
So it organizes, this is the first one I've seen do this. It doesn't just organize by podcast, it also does it by creator. So you can make your own creator profile, and then you can tell it like what podcast you're on and what episodes you've done of other podcasts and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, like fuel appearances.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there might be something
Love it.
there to at least learn from, if not, like, I don't know if you can use this as a data source, like.
I'm also
gay
sending you a
podcasts.
website that might help.
Cool. Ben just said www.earnben.com.
It has anything you need.
That is helpful. That has anything. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Hannah. Equally.
Yeah, I should have thought of that, though. I apologize.
Dope. That's awesome. Yeah, I think those data sources are good. Even if I can't, like, automate them, I could, like, add them, you know, and link things to the best of my ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
All right, should we do my obsession then?
Yeah.
Please.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be quick. So, I just farted. So,
Is that it?
It was quick. Was that it? We've been obsessed with farting?
trying to fart all week.
Wow. Congratulations. I know that feel. That's hard. I had some old lentils one time, as you might remember.
I remember, yeah.
It was old beans. It was old beans.
Okay, so I also had like kind of also meaning compared to Ben, Erin obviously had a very intense obsession week. I also had a kind of a light week on obsessions. I was very busy. I was playing a lot of games in my new VR space, you know, and bringing it
in your face.
Yeah, bringing it to people's houses. Mom tried it out. I think that was after we recorded, right? I didn't tell you about that, right, Erin?
Yeah. No.
We brought it over to my parents' house last weekend to have anyone who wanted to try it. Our brother Lucas's girlfriend Federica was there. Dad was there. But Aunt Brown is the only person who got to use it because she tried it first and then didn't take it off until the battery died. So,
wow.
Yeah. But,
how long does the battery last?
it actually wasn't fully charged when we went over there, so it didn't last quite this long, but it can last like 2.5 to 3 hours. So it's not forever, which I think is a good thing. At least for this stage in our human evolution, because, you know, she would have been in there for even longer. So
she needs some R.
Yeah, exactly. So, so that's been really fun. Been playing games and stuff. Been really quite busy, actually. Actually, wish I'd been playing more games. But there's one YouTuber that I've been really enjoying this week. I actually found him because of VR, because when we were researching games, his video on Beat Saber was one of the ones we came across, and it's called, Beat Saber is not a nightmare. And the reason it's called that is because every one of his other videos is like, this game is a nightmare. Here's why. Like every one of them. But then, and they're not all even bad reviews. That's just like the way he structures his reviews. But this one was a good review, and he couldn't even bring himself to say it was a nightmare because it's just like a perfect game. I don't know what his actual name is, but his YouTube name is UpIsNotJump. And he's a British guy. He has a cat and a fiance, I believe. And they live in an apartment, probably someplace in a city in England. And he's also a science teacher for his day job. So like he's made some videos recently, which were like explaining the Big Bang and how the universe came into existence and stuff. Because I think he's either just like a high school science teacher, like general science, or he's a chemistry teacher. Because he mentioned that he had a chemistry degree. But yeah, we found him because like recently he's been doing a lot of reviews of VR games because he like recently got a VR headset, and he's just like, he's really good with editing. His cat's, he has a black cat whose name is Sid, and he talks to his cat like at least once an episode usually, and the cat responds, and he calls himself Khajiit, and he's like very intense, and I enjoy it a lot. And yeah, he's just kind of fun to watch. And he has like, his teeth kind of stick out on the sides, and they kind of almost look like fangs.
That's England for you. I feel like a YouTuber kind of has you, like you, Hannah, at like cat, but like specifically at like talks to the cat. You're like, I love this YouTuber, like rightly so.
That's actually not just YouTubers. That's like every person that I ever know. Yeah.
Yeah. I met the best person ever. They have a cat.
Yeah. They have a cat and they talk about it.
And they showed me a picture. Best friend.
Yes. Exactly.
You're like dog-like in that quality about you about cats.
Wow. Yeah. I never thought about it that way, but you're right.
Yeah.
But
I love it.
he's just very funny, and I just enjoy him. So that's pretty much it. We watched a bunch from the other night.
What's his name again?
UpIsNotJump. I just sent you a link to the video I was talking about for Beat Saber.
His teeth do look like fangs.
Don't they?
Yes. Very much.
Yeah. But this is silly. I would check him out if you have an interest in video games. These are not our favorite things, but they might be somebody's favorite things. He did a lot of, for a while it seemed like I think he's relatively new to like having any kind of following on YouTube. But a lot of his, videos before he started doing the VR review stuff were, Fallout 4. They were like different like commercials and scenes, and like there's a Bob Ross one, like an episode of Bob Ross that he recreated in Fallout 4, using like a bunch of like mods and stuff to help with lighting and camera angles and things like that. So if that's something you might be into, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of, like I said, like VR reviews and stuff. And honestly, like most of his stuff is worth watching just for the funniness. And then the most recent, so the video is called Existence is a Nightmare, and then Existence is a Nightmare Part 2. Those are the ones where he's like talking science. So in some ways, I mean, he's like, you know,
chemistry review.
Yeah. He's got more subscribers than most people in the world, I'm sure, but like he doesn't have a million subscribers yet or anything. So I think he's like still finding his voice a little bit, you know, but, I would recommend checking him out. He seems like a good dude and he likes cats.
Hell yeah.
So, you know, how much better could he be?
Exactly.
Not much better.
He does a lot of really good prop work. He's just fun to watch. His videos are entertaining.
I do like every single other video literally is like, this game is a nightmare. There's not another that's not a nightmare except it's Beat Saber.
Yeah. But it's the perfect game. It's so good. If I could have gotten away with it, I would have made that my obsession this week. Because it's made me sweat like I haven't allowed exercise to in years this week.
I haven't allowed exercise.
I love the way you phrase that.
So
I sweat so much.
I'm sweating
Same.
right now because
I'm
just
not.
like I feel like it's an abnormal amount when I exercise.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like fucking ridiculous. I'm like, okay, I
It's
get it.
stupid.
like,
I'm warm. I get it.
we all get it. Everyone here
We
gets
all get it.
Yeah, I tell you, when I went to China, like everybody that was worried about me and it wasn't from walking around. It was just like from being in a hot climate. Oh, and then starting at my new job, like since Uncle Brown also works there, I feel like understood for the first time in my life because he already like laid the groundwork. So I don't have to be like, it's just genetic. I just sweat all the time because everybody knows that about me already.
He laid the ground sweat. Yeah, my dad was just this morning saying that because he was sweating profusely, and I was like, "You're making me nervous," because he was sitting in the sunshine, like sweating. I was like, "Can you please sit in the shade? You're making me nervous." He's like, yeah. When I went to India, they were all really worried about me because I was just sweating. We sweat.
That's just life.
Yeah, I've just got a sheen about me. Okay.
Kylie like never sweats. It has to be like super hot and she's in direct sunlight, and then she starts sweating a little bit and she's like, oh man, I'm so sweaty. And she's like not. She's like has a thin, like a fine patina. Like,
you're like, that's inside sweat.
Yeah.
That's
inside air conditioning sweat.
This is like 65-degree sweat.
Oh my gosh, Brown family problems. #.
I know, but it's great. I have great skin. Like, my skin's so soft. I feel like I just like am a great hydrator because I'm fucking sweating it, just like all the time.
Yeah, you find those.
When people are like, "No sweat," I'm like, "Yeah, maybe for you."
Oh Jesus Christ!
What?
There's a container of treats open up here.
Oh,
I was just chowing down.
oh, jeez.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Did your mama leave treats open?
If there were a container of treats open, Henry would be like, "Excuse me, I think that's supposed to be closed." He would like, unless we were like out of the house, he would like not be up in the treats. He'd be like, "I don't think that's supposed to be open."
Oh.
And then even if he were home alone, he would eat like 2 and then get bored.
Como would probably eat the entire thing.
Wow.
He fucking loves those treats.
That's amazing.
Treats are good.
Yeah, he's great. You're great.
Yeah, thank you for that contribution, Hannah.
He's nuzzling.
By fucking definition, treats are good.
Let's do homework.
Let's.
My homework. I'm Ben, and here's my homework. It's listen to the Adventure Zone. I mean, it's all good. If you want to just listen to Amnesty, that's fine. It's really good, and it's shorter. But it's still going on, so once you catch up, you're going to have to wait like 2 weeks or more between episodes, which I hate about it. But it's good. That's on Spotify or wherever you want to get your these website. And my Twitter is Nicely Proofed Ben. My Twitch is Disco Greg. That's all, folks.
I love how you just, like, didn't complete that thought. You were like, they know.
Yeah.
Or wherever you get your website. Okay, me.
You.
My name is Erin. My homework is to check out queerworksmap.com, and hopefully there'll be something explaining what the fuck it is by Sunday. I have another website, erinburn.com. I review lesbian movies at Lesbian Movie Reviews on Instagram. Check out those websites wherever you get your websites.
Great.
Thanks.
Hello, I'm Hannah. If you'd like to see the YouTube star UpIsNotJump, you can do that at youtube.com/UpIsNotJump.
Or wherever you get your websites.
Wherever you get your websites. I will post a link to... I'll put in the description and post on Twitter a link to the Beat Saber video that I was talking about. And my Twitter is at Hanthropology. That's also my Instagram. I have another podcast called So Dreamy. We talk about dreams. We're doing an interview. Stop it. We're doing an interview.
The vampire.
With, a woman who we are fans of, who draws her dreams every morning.
Cool.
Tomorrow we're recording that interview, so that's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, she's in England, so that'll be fun. And that's it. So if you want to follow the podcast, you can do that at TooBroadPod on Twitter, WayTooBroad on Instagram. You can email us, just like shoutouts to Rachel and Uncle Brown did this week, at waytoobroad@gmail.com. Tell us your obsession. Tell us something we should be obsessed with. Thank you again. Shoutouts to Rachel. And if you missed anything we just said, I mean, it's not like all on the website, but anything we said in the homework is on the website at waytoobroad.com.
I mean, it is on the website because you can listen to the episodes right from the website.
You're right. It's all on the website.
It's all on the whole kit and caboodle's on the website.
At waytoobroad.com for anything you want. www.earnben.com for anything you need. And if you enjoyed the episode this week, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or any place you can leave us a review. And we'll just appreciate you so much. And we already do appreciate you for listening, but we'll appreciate you even more.
Even more. And you'll feel it.
Yeah, you will. The Brown family love is as powerful as the Brown family sweat glands.
You'll feel it. It'll feel like sweat. You'll be like, am I sweating more? Oh, it's the review I left. And that'll last your whole life long.
Yeah, congratulations.
Your whole life.
So thanks again for listening. And the podcast candle is now extinguished.
Goodbye.
You too, motherfucker.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I've got another goodbye for